Many of us focus on what we eat to manage insulin resistance, but have you ever thought about when and what order you eat certain foods? It turns out that the sequence in which we consume our meals may have a significant impact on our blood sugar levels, insulin response, and metabolic health. In today's video, we're diving deep into the concept of food sequencing and whether changing the order in which we eat our meals can help manage insulin resistance. What is insulin resistance? Let's start with a quick refresher. Insulin resistance occurs when your cells don't respond properly to insulin, the hormone that helps regulate glucose levels in your blood. Over time, this can lead to consistently high blood sugar levels, potentially resulting in prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, and other metabolic disorders. When insulin is not working efficiently, your body struggles to store or utilize glucose effectively. As a result, more insulin is produced, creating a vicious cycle that increases your risk of weight gain, fatigue, and other health issues. The role of food sequencing in insulin response. You may be thinking, how could eating the same foods in a different order change my insulin response? Surprisingly, several recent studies have shown that the sequence in which we eat carbohydrates, proteins, and fats can influence how much insulin is required and how quickly glucose spikes after a meal. This strategy can be especially helpful for people dealing with insulin resistance. The science behind food order. What the research says. Research published in Diabetes Care and the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition suggests that starting meals with fiber, protein, or fat before carbohydrates can reduce post-meal glucose spikes. Here's how it works. Fiber slows down digestion, creating a more gradual release of glucose into the bloodstream. Proteins promote the secretion of certain hormones, such as glucagon-like peptide-1, GLP-1, which slows gastric emptying and reduces appetite. Fats further delay the breakdown of food and act as a barrier, preventing rapid glucose absorption. One groundbreaking study found that when participants ate their vegetables and proteins first, followed by carbs, their post-meal glucose levels were up to 30 to 40% lower compared to when they consumed the same meal in a reverse order. Practical example. A simple meal plan using food order. Now, let's look at a practical example of how food order works. Imagine you're eating a meal with grilled chicken, steamed broccoli, and brown rice. Here's what you should do. Start with the vegetables. Eat your broccoli first. This gives the fiber time to activate and prepare your digestive system. Move on to the protein. After finishing the veggies, eat the grilled chicken. Protein will further slow down digestion and promote fullness. Finish with carbohydrates. Finally, eat the brown rice. By saving the carbs for last, you minimize the insulin spike that would typically occur if you ate them first. Why does this strategy work? This method works because it slows the absorption of carbohydrates, resulting in a smaller glucose surge and a reduced need for insulin. The delayed absorption also gives your pancreas time to secrete insulin gradually, rather than being overwhelmed by a sudden spike. This approach could potentially improve glycemic control, especially for individuals with insulin resistance or those at risk of diabetes. It's a relatively simple lifestyle change, but the science behind it is incredibly promising. Food order and glycemic index, a winning combination. Some of you may be familiar with the glycemic index, GI, which ranks foods based on how quickly they raise blood glucose levels. Combining a low GI diet with strategic food sequencing could amplify the benefits. For example, starting your meal with a salad, followed by a lean protein like salmon, and finishing with a small portion of quinoa would be a great way to keep your blood sugar steady throughout the meal. Can food order help with weight loss? While food sequencing isn't a magic bullet for weight loss, it can certainly play a role. By preventing large glucose spikes, you can avoid the energy crashes and sugar cravings that often lead to overeating. When your blood sugar remains stable, you're more likely to feel satisfied for longer and less tempted to snack between meals. What about snacks and drinks? This strategy doesn't only apply to main meals, it can also be used for snacks. For example, if you're having a fruit smoothie, try pairing it with some almonds or a handful of pumpkin seeds to slow the absorption of sugar from the fruit. Similarly, if you enjoy a piece of chocolate after dinner, Eat it after your protein-rich main course instead of on an empty stomach. How to get started with food sequencing. If you're ready to try this strategy, here are a few tips to get started. Plan your meals with sequencing in mind. Think about the order in which you'll eat your food before sitting down. Start each meal with fiber-rich vegetables. Salads, steamed greens, or roasted vegetables are great options. Include healthy fats and proteins. Incorporate foods like avocado, nuts, lean meats, or tofu. Save carbohydrates for the end. This includes rice, bread, pasta, or any other starches. Track your progress. Pay attention to how you feel after meals and monitor your blood sugar levels if needed. Who should try food sequencing? This approach can benefit anyone looking to improve their metabolic health, but it may be particularly useful for people with insulin resistance or prediabetes, those with type 2 diabetes seeking better blood sugar control, individuals aiming to reduce post-meal fatigue and sugar cravings, anyone interested in optimizing their nutrition for long-term health. Potential challenges and solutions. While food sequencing is simple in theory, it may take some time to adjust. Here are a few common challenges and tips to overcome them. Eating out. When dining at restaurants, ask for vegetables or salads to be served first. Busy schedules. Prepare meals in advance to avoid grabbing high-carb snacks on the go. Social settings. If eating with others, explain your approach to avoid misunderstandings. Conclusion: is this the right strategy for you? Incorporating food sequencing into your routine may be a small change, but it can have a meaningful impact on your insulin response and overall health. If you're dealing with insulin resistance, prediabetes, or simply want to improve your metabolic health, this strategy is definitely worth a try. It's easy to implement, scientifically backed, and may help you feel more energized throughout the day. Call to action: try it out today. So, what do you think? Will you give food sequencing a try? If you've tried it before, let us know your experience in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more health tips like this.